you that don't know me, my name is Lenny, and I am making this video a little ahead of time because of some questions that an old friend brought up to me last night on Facebook. And I thought I would address it and maybe answer some of her questions and questions that other friends and family members have been bringing up. The big one is, why did we move? And why did we move to Mexico? And why did we move to Merida in Mexico? Well, it comes down to a number of things. The first thing is that we've been pretty much hanging out in our home for the last 2.5 years like most everyone else. And we have been working online from home, myself for almost 12 years and Denise for about 10 years. So it really didn't matter where we were. We could work from virtually anywhere. And we had gotten to the point where we just had gotten into a grind and we were working to only pay bills and not enjoy our lives. So about 6 months ago, we started talking about, hey, what if we become nomads? What if we move somewhere else where we could have new adventures, try new things? And a number of places came up. Anywhere from Bali to Thailand to places in Europe to places in South America. What happened, we were watching YouTube and we saw videos pop up about people being in Merida, Mexico. And Denise is like, well, why don't we take a look at that? Because we were also looking at maybe Puerto Vallarta. So we started pulling up the videos from a lot of great people who've posted some amazing information. And the more we looked at it, we were like, wow, that place looks awesome. There's families, there's culture, there's everything happening there. So we started to do more research. And we found out that Merida is the second safest city in North America. Now, for those of you that don't realize it, Mexico is in North America. As much as anyone would like to consider it a third world country, it's not. And it's actually an insult to them, the people that live here, to even say that. But that's for another day. Let's get back to what I was starting with. So we looked at Merida, we looked at all the information, we found out what the cost of living was as far as homes, utilities, food, and the more we talked about it, the more we researched, we were like, we can make that happen. This is something we could do. So we put it on our long-term list. We were considering maybe doing it this summer, June, July, August. By that time, Wyatt would be out of school. We'd have some money put away, and we'd be a little bit more prepared. But all of a sudden, we had an offer on our house. It wasn't for what we really wanted, but we also had to do some fixing to the house. So by the time we looked at everything, what it would cost to fix up the house the way we wanted, to put it on the market and everything else, we were like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just sell the damn thing and get out of here. And it was a 30-day turnaround from the day they made us the offer to the day we closed on it, packed up everything we had, threw it on a plane, and flew down here. Now, the story gets a little weird at this point. We decided we were going to do it. I reached out to my mom. I reached out to my brother and sister. I reached out to only a few very close friends and told them what we were going to do. And the one big question that I got from a couple of family members and friends is, it's unsafe down there. What makes you think you could move to Mexico? And I actually was insulted by that, thinking that they believed that I was not capable of doing the research and understanding what we were getting ourselves into. So I reached out to them and I told them, it is safer us moving to Mexico because what's happening there versus what's happening where we lived in Florida or in the United States. So let me give you a little background on that. Last year in Yucatan, which is the state which in Merida is contained, there were 18 murders last year. Go online, take a look at where you live and how many murders happened there last year. Tell me which area is safer. There have been no drive-by shootings. There have been no school shootings. There have been no racial killings. So the more and more we looked at it, as far as safety was concerned, we thought this place would be safer. So then we went a little further. We took a look at the cost of living. And we were like, you know what? For the cost of our mortgage, we could actually live here for $500 less than what we were paying for our mortgage. So we're not talking about our car payment, our car insurance, our health insurance, everything. You add it all up, our paychecks, mine and Denise's, went towards paying all the bills. And yes, we made good money. But all of that money went towards our cost of living. So we thought about that. Can we live better here than we do there? So we put that to the side. So we had safety, where we're going, and what it was going to cost us to live there. Then we considered travel. There are restrictions here, unlike the restrictions there are in the States, but there are restrictions that we can live with. So we thought, you know what? A base of Mexico, we now have a chance to travel to a new country, and we're closer to South America, so we can now travel either by bus or flights throughout South America and still be good to go. We can afford to travel a lot more. And then the next question that came up for our friends was, are you willing to give up your citizenship in the United States to move to Mexico? I found that to be an insult also. I thought my friends were smarter than that, to be very honest with you. And those that asked me the question, I apologize if I'm insulting your intelligence, but the reality is, crap, people, think about what you're saying. Who in their right mind will give up their citizenship? I am Puerto Rican because of my mom and dad are proud Puerto Ricans, and so am I. I was born in the United States. I served in the U.S. military. I served my country. What would make anyone think that I'd be willing to give up my citizenship? Just because we moved to Mexico and we apply for our permanent visas doesn't mean I've got to give up my passport. So there we go. We moved to Mexico. I don't give up my citizenship, neither does Denise or Wyatt. We get to live here and maintain our passport. Because again, just because we move here, just because we get our citizenship, doesn't mean we get a passport. You have to be a Mexican-born citizen to get a Mexican passport. That takes care of another one of the questions that was asked. Back to the safety, because that bothered me a lot. It bothered me a lot. Being a Hispanic man, I'm not that tan now. That's going to change this summer. I will get very dark. For those of you that know me, I will change about 4 or 5 shades. We spent about 9 days in central Merida. That is the downtown area. We were in a very nice hotel, 2.5 blocks away, 3 blocks from the square. I was a little sketchy on what everyone kept telling me, that it's safe, until I actually walked the streets. Every corner has cameras on it. There are police officers, not only local, state, federal, and National Guard, located throughout the entire city. You can be out at 3 o'clock in the morning, walking downtown Merida, and feel absolutely safe. Don't have to worry about a thing. Now, don't be stupid, go out and get drunk and cause trouble. But if you're out there and you're watching what's going on, you are safe. Wyatt and I were out one night at midnight, walking to a store to get some drinks, and we saw families out with their children, going to dinner and enjoying themselves on a weeknight. That to me made me realize that it's very different here. Because I will say we lived in a very small town, Dunellen. Small town. Did I ever feel safe? No. Be honest, I didn't. So for me to walk around here at that time of night with all of that presence, I felt very safe. Now, it wasn't only because of that. It was because I didn't feel like I was out of place and I was being watched for everything I did. Where we lived, it was rural, but not that rural. But whether it was in Dunellen, Ocala, Gainesville, I could always tell when I went out with my white wife that I was being watched. That people were judging not only my wife, but myself. That if I walked into a store by myself, I had people watching what I was doing. Because even though some may not consider me a person of color, I am. And being a person of color, you have to be careful in what you do, what you say. So I will say that I've walked into stores here, I've made my way about, I've never felt like a single person was focusing on me because of the color of my skin. Now, on top of that, I will say this. I've spoken to my mother about this. I've spoken to friends. I've been pulled over, driving my car, doing nothing wrong, and taken out of my car at gunpoint and laid face down on the ground so they could run my plates and then say, hey, sorry, you can go now. That alone does not make me feel safe. But I'll move on from there. Work. We can work remotely from anywhere. I've worked for Apple for the last 8 years, and yes, I did resign my position there, but I'm very confident that with the resume, I'll be able to pick up a position virtually anywhere virtually. Denise is in the same boat. So as far as work is concerned, we're not concerned about that. We have some more things to take care of, and within the next week and a half, we should be able to go ahead and pick up a position and get right back to work. School. Well, Wyatt was already doing school online, so it's not an issue, and he is getting ready to go back to it and start his classes back up and continue as he was doing at home. So I think I've covered the majority of this. Why'd we move? It's a lot calmer down here. It's a lot slower. Life is easier, and family is the biggest thing here. If you were here, you'd notice around 1:30 in the afternoon, the roads get crowded. That's because kids are heading home from school. Parents are heading home from work. They do dinner time between 2 and 4 p.m. here, where the entire family gets together. Not only mom and dad and their kids, but their grandparents, cousins, uncles. They all get together for a meal and enjoy themselves and enjoy the people that they're with. Something that I haven't experienced in a very long time constantly. Seldomly, we did get together as a family with my brother, my sister, and my mom and have a meal, but it wasn't something that happened all the time. So I will say that moving here, making this change, scooping my family up to a different country was scary. The scariest thing I've ever done in my life. But after being here almost 2.5 weeks now, it's been so nice, so relaxed. My stress levels have dropped. I've taken Xanax for years. I haven't taken a single one since I've been here. It's nicer. It's more comfortable. And I will say to anyone who is unsure of what you're doing, of how your life is going, of how you feel, I'm not telling you to move down here, but take a look at your life and see what you can do better and make it easier. And don't work until the day you drop dead. Relax a bit. Enjoy yourself. If you have any questions, please post them below. Subscribe to the channel. It would help us out and show us who's watching. And reach out to me. Those who know me, I'd love to talk to you. Take care.